So when starting your welding business, you got to ask yourself, what do you have to offer? Are you the best welder out there? The best welder there's ever been? Probably not. I'm not. I can tell you I'm not. There's plenty of other guys that are better welders than me. Here's where it gets real dicey. Just because you're not the best doesn't mean that you won't actually be the best business owner. They're kind of two different things, and the reason why I want to bring that up is you have to be efficient at welding and fabricating. You do have to know what you're doing. But if you can do the job quickly, but it's not going to be the prettiest in the world, like the best weld, it's actually not going to kill you. And what really gets frustrating for me, what I've run into and what I've noticed is there's a lot of people out there that are running welding businesses that don't really care too much about what their welds look like. I've seen some of them, I'm like, oh God, that's bad, but they're still hooked up and still busy. And the reason being is because welding businesses operate off of sales and marketing. They don't operate off of welds. Obviously, your welds have to hold structurally. Obviously, they have to pass inspection if you're getting them inspected. So I'm not talking about that. If you had those comments or those questions come to your mind, they will pass, visual, they will pass inspection, but they're not the best. That's what I'm talking about, is if you're a perfectionist trying to have the best welds, make it look the best, it's not going to help you out a whole lot in a welding business. Back to the previous question, what do you have to offer? Well, if you're not the best welder, then you're going to need to be able to do things better, faster, or cheaper, or a combination of all of those. If you can do it better, faster, cheaper, then you're probably going to get plenty of work through the door. I know there's a lot of an issue with a lot of guys that are very experienced in welding, so they have a belated or an inflated idea of how much they should be earning instead of taking a humble approach. You go way astronomical price-wise based off of how excellent of a welder you are. Well, in this industry, sadly, you have to face reality, and a lot of my videos recently have been reality. You can't just sit here and daydream about just a beautiful, awesome, idealistic business you had. That's what I had. I had all these great ideas of what business was going to be, and it's going to be so awesome. And then reality hit me. Look, no one cares how fancy your welds look. What they care about is who's the cheapest and who can get it done the fastest. That's it. That's just period. Now, if you find a job where looks of a weld matter and you can be a perfectionist, then that's awesome. I wish I had your opportunities. But the more and more I'm in it, I've only been in it for a year, very limited experience, very limited. I'm just telling you how to get started in a welding business. You have to realize that people will only pay for cheap and fast. They want it the cheapest they can get it and the fastest. So if there's somebody that doesn't have as much experience as you or I, so they don't get that idea like, oh, I need to make so much money, they actually come in and are very humble, like, oh, I don't have very much experience, but I'll just try doing what I can do. They come in cheaper and they guarantee getting it done fast. They get the job every time. That's why people like that are the ones that get all the work in the first place, is because they're playing the business game. They're not playing the I'm the best welder game. That's the mentality you have to get into when you're breaking out from welding into the business realm, is you got to realize how good of a welder you are has very little to do with how successful you're going to be. Where it will come in handy is if you can be faster because you're more efficient, more experienced. If you know how to fit and fabricate and you know how to weld, I mean, just like rocket it out faster than anyone else can, that's where you're going to win. Because, yeah, if you're an experienced welder, you can weld faster than inexperienced welders. And you know how to fabricate if you've got that experience. So that's where it will come in handy. But if you're hung up on it being perfect and being a perfectionist, that's where it's going to hurt you. So those are just a few ideas for you to think about whenever starting a welding business, is what do you have to offer? I hope you guys have a great day. As always, I'll talk to you later.